Yo, yo, welcome back to the Roundtable Talk. And I am your host, C Money. And we are back here at Hotspots in South Florida, here at Larry and Penny Thompson Memorial Park. This is part two, and we are continuing our walk through the park. We just, at the end of the show, we passed the entrance to the beach area. If you're just joining us, if you haven't seen part one, Larry and Penny Thompson. Larry Thompson was a columnist for the Miami Herald, and his wife, Penny Thompson, and they died in the early 70s. And within time, in 1977, this park ended up opening, so it became a I'm guessing that's why it's called the Memorial Park. And here's another pavilion that we have here, and it became a memorial park for things. I'm trying to find. Hey, kitty cat. I don't want you. I want you to enjoy your little rest. I'm just walking through. This is a big pavilion. They have a big old grill and things like that. So here. Here, I'm trying to find, this is probably where the slide is at, and I'm guessing to get to the slide you have to go through the beach entrance, which is over on the other side. And see, yeah, this is where the water slide is at, and to get to it you have to go through the beach entrance, and the beach entrance is actually, it's actually closed. I'm guessing because it's a weekday, and not only that, it's because probably the weather and stuff, but they do have slides, so this is kind of interesting. So we're now back on the trail again to go back further up north. Now this trail is interesting because this is the trail near the road area for the cars and stuff. When we was in part one, we did a trail that wasn't part of anything, and it was just like you have to access it basically through just by walking. You couldn't access it through cars or nothing like that. So it kind of got to the point where you was like, if you came out, you was on your own. This is part of the slide. This is a nice, interesting slide, and they also have I'm guessing the slide comes out in this pool area right here, both of the slides, and then you walk up the ramp to come out. Danger, do not enter. So, but the pool the water looks I guess because the color of the pool, which is orange, it kind of makes the water look not clean, but and let's go this way and let's get a better view. The park. I wanted to go here to this little observation deck, but I'm guessing that's part of the pool, the beach area, so it was hard. I couldn't get to it. And this is what the slide looks like. I'm guessing this slide has been closed for a while because they recently eventually opened it back up. I'm guessing it was a slide that's been here for years, and they recently opened it back up. And then that's the little pool area right there where you slide into the little, and then you come up. There's actually 3 slides. There's one here and there's 2 over there, and then you walk back over. So this is not bad. This is an overview of the lake here, and that's the beach area over there. If you didn't get to see part 1, go check it out. This is another pavilion. Now I wouldn't mind doing the use of staples or thumbtacks may result in the loss of shelter deposit. Yeah, because a lot of people, they like to use thumbtacks and staples to staple up like little party, supplies and little party decorations and stuff. So, that's something, you gotta be cautious of. So we're gonna come over and we're gonna continue walking, Oh, there's something in there, and that was a snake that just went by. Oh, nice. Well, you're gonna find snakes, especially in the rain part, because I mentioned, at one of the parks that I visited in Broward called Lakeside Sandpine Preserve. When it rains, a lot of the snakes, you'll see them throughout the trails. And I've seen one when I visited one time. Not the time where I did the episode, but when I did go back to visit, I did an update because I had somebody update me on the park. So it's where, you know, you got to see some. This is the playground area. Not as bad as I thought it would be, but at the same time, you know, it is, you know, this is not a big playground, but it is what it is. So you know, you get what you can get. You know, I don't know if it's free to park here, because I know in certain parks, and I'm surprised that they don't allow dogs in the park, but I'm quite sure people bring their dogs out here because, of course, if you've seen in part 1 along the trail, there was a lot of manure, and it could have been dog manure, you know, to where I'm like, y'all don't clean up after yourself, you know. But yeah, it's quite sure that people bring their dogs in here. They just can't catch, you know, have the park officials catch you with your dog, you know, because they only allow service animals. And you know, that's way deep in the other side of that area is one of is the trail that we did walk. And it was, because remember, we did get separated by the vehicle traffic, and we went deep into the trails to where, you know, you didn't see the car road, which is here. So pretty much like I said in the first video, it will probably take you over close to an hour to walk this park, you know, if you're like myself, because I'm doing a regular walk. I'm not doing, because you know, I've told you in the past that I'll do walk fast. So I'm doing a regular walk. I'm doing a medium walk because I'm doing a video. Now, if I was doing a regular, like if I wasn't recording or nothing like that, I probably would have been walking a little bit more faster than what I am. But I'm doing a medium walk because I am recording. And also, like I said, if you are joining us still, I told everybody, if you Google Larry and Penny Thompson Memorial Park, it is connected to Zoo Miami. There is a gate that sits on the other side where we visited it on part 1, and go back to part 1, you know, to get the full event. With any of my videos, if there's a 2 or 3 part video, go to part 1 first. Don't start at part 2, don't start at part 3, because you're not going to get the full story behind it. In part 1, there is a gate with barbed wires at the top that look like a prison gate that separates a section of the park. And on the other side of their park, I'm guessing that is part of Zoo Miami, because if you Google Larry and Penny Thompson Park on Google Maps, you'll see some of the things and amenities they have inside of Zoo Miami, and it'll look like you literally can walk through the woods just to get to Zoo Miami. But there is a gate that separates. So that gate, I don't know if the gate is actually the separation for Zoo Miami, but from what I see, it could be the separation of the gate. And you know, in Google Maps, they don't have people that walk around the park in Google Maps. You know, they only have them walking in the cars. So you're only going to see the areas of where the cars walk through, drive through. You're not going to see the walking areas. Okay, it just says protected natural area, funding and management of this Miami-Dade County Park natural area provided by Miami-Dade County Environmentally Endangered Lands Program and Natural Areas Management. And this is what is protected. Was this the area I came up on? I really don't remember, but we're gonna walk down, because we're gonna go back down to the area where we first started, especially with the camping area and stuff. I know there's a lot more, there's trails, but we're gonna go back into the camping area. But as far as I'm concerned, this is, you know, a pretty decent walk. Now, if you've seen majority of my videos when I do these nature walks in nature, I know a lot of you probably be like, how do you walk these things? It'd be hot, it'd be, because I know how to stay hydrated and stay safe, because a lot of these times I know I bring sweat rags, which I have 2 that's in my backpack with me, and I also bring, you know, a hydration system. I didn't get my hydration system today because I was in a rush, and with the time framing of getting here, you know, I got here a little bit later than usual. So I was like, okay, let me figure this out. And then I was gonna stop and see if there was any like convenience store or anything near the area to get some hydration. But because of the weather situation, it's not as bad out here. So I'm not really hot. And even if I was, you know, I'm eventually will go to another location. And, you know, there's a gas station that I was told right outside of the park. If you go further west, and there's a convenience store, you know, to where I can purchase a drink. There's a guy on the bike and stuff like that. So it's nothing for me. So deep upon all of this is the trail we ended up in part 1. So you got to get an understanding of this is like taking the turnpike. You know that part of the turnpike in Florida, if you've ever driven in Florida, that part of the turnpike where I-95 and the turnpike meets up side by side, like near the Jupiter area, where if you're riding on the I-95 to the left, you can see the turnpike, which is, you know, like feet away. And then if you're driving on the turnpike, you can see on the right that I-95 is feet away. And then eventually they veer off and separate. They come together near the Jupiter area to where you can see there, and Jupiter is like an easy transfer point if you need to go to get either on I-95 or turnpike. Even though they tell you eventually you'll have to get to Orlando, you'll have to eventually, you know, venture over to the turnpike. But, you know, and it's the same way here. You'll see the road and the trail, and then eventually the trail veers off to where you can't see nothing but trees and woods. And that's basically what this was. And I was like, oh wow. And I was like, am I going the right way? Am I going near the water park? Am I going near, you know, all of this? So it's a pretty decent walk. See, here's the trail now. And of course, there are several trails that extends out to other areas. I may walk it, I may not. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I may walk it. But at the same time, I just want to get an understanding of it. Now, come back to what I said earlier. You see this gate here? This is the gate I was talking about. If you can see, let me try to zoom in a little bit. The gate here, this is the gate I was talking about that might be separating Larry Penny Thompson from Zoo Miami, because I believe Zoo Miami is on the other side of that gate. But a lot of Zoo Miami has not been developed because there's nothing but woods and land and environmental areas. Like back then in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, a lot of Zoo Miami was small. It didn't have a lot of stuff. They started building on a lot more stuff to it. And we're gonna do a video of Zoo Miami in the future. But you know, if you Google, like I said, if you Google this park and you Google it in Google Maps, you can see that there isn't a line. There's nothing that separates Larry Penn and Thompson from Zoo Miami. It's just because in Google Maps, parks are in green, are shaded in green, are colored in green. A lot of the parks are covered in green. And if you see Larry Penn and Thompson Park, and if you see Zoo Miami, it looks like you can literally walk into some of the little sections of Zoo Miami from Larry and Penny Thompson. But apparently, that's the gate that blocks everything off. So if you do try to go and try to cross over to Zoo Miami, you got barbed wires like you're in prison. Okay, here's the marker. Larry and Penny Thompson. Larry Thompson, 1911 to 1973, was a beloved humorist and popular daily columnist for the Miami Herald for 25 years. Penny Thompson, 1917 to 1975, was a leader in women's aviation during the 1940s and early 1950s in South Florida. Married in 1953, they took their family on cross-country camping trips each year. South Floridians were taken along vicariously through Thompson's home sport column that chronicled their family life. Larry and Penny were tireless advocates of creating more parks and planting more trees and flowers throughout the Miami-Dade County. So he died 2 years before her. He died in 73. She died in 75, and he is 6 years older than her, which is because I did do my research and I forgot to remember, did he die before her or she died before him? And she was, I know it says she was an advocate for something. He wrote for the Miami Herald and stuff like that. So for them, there was a pretty, like I said, there was a pretty no trespassing, removal of fruit from trees / grove are prohibited. So I'm guessing there are fruit in these trees. Oh yeah, they're right there. They're right there. Those, I believe, are mangoes, if I'm not mistaken. But those are stuff. But yeah, you are prohibited from removing the fruit from these trees, because I'm guessing the fruits in these trees are probably for the wildlife and natural life out here. Even though there's not many wildlife out here, you see iguanas and birds, but I don't think you see too much of so things. And this is we're back to the front end of the park, where I came in at, and we're going to walk. Vigorously, we're going to walk through the campground area, but we're not going to stay near the campground area. We're just going to walk through it to get an understanding of it, because if you Google it, it tells you a lot of amenities. They say there's a water slide. I didn't know there was a beach until I got here, because it just, like I said, one of the reasons why I chose this park is because on social media, they do these advertisement commercials and all that, and there was an advertisement to say that they opened up the water slide here, and they didn't say they had a beach, they just said they had a water slide. So I was like, I didn't know Larry and Penny Thompson had a water slide, and this is one of the first. And normally when I do these videos, I have already visited the park. I just come and visit and do a video. But now I do the like Snyder Park, which I did recently. I did a 2-part episode of Snyder Park. That was my first time visiting that park. A lot of these parks that I visit now, normally it's my first time visiting. It's a very few parks that I have visited before I did a video, and I come back and do a video because they either add something to it or it's something interesting about the park, and I never did a video for it. So this is one of the things that I've been doing. This is the first time I ever been to this park. I've passed through this park because they have bus service out here, So we're gonna this is called Welcome to Larry and Penny Thompson Campground. So we're gonna come out here to the area here. Now this campground is also roped off to people. I know there's an understanding that you probably have to register and everything to actually come to this park, and also actually have access over here. Like during the daytime you can have access over here, because at nighttime you probably have to have a permit or register over here. No trespass, and that's another fruit removal trespassing sign. And of course there's the gate right there. No, but this is the gate, I think, separating the campground from the rest of the park. And here are the areas where you can park your car at. I always wonder, because I know when I did a video over Lita River, they did State Park, where they had a campground area, and then they have the little cabin. Go check out my Hotspots in History in South Florida, where they had showers. And I always wonder, and I know a lot of people, when they come to these parks, especially with not CB Smith, with T.Y. Park, because we did an episode of T.Y. at T.Y. Park, where they have a camping area in the back of T.Y. Park near the train tracks area, and people can park their RVs and stuff like that, and they have access to things I don't know, and I've never seen where if they had access to showers. We never covered the back part of TY Park, but visitors, please check in at the office where it tells you, yeah, slow down, speed bump ahead, where you can go and there's an actual pool over here. Wow. So I'm guessing if you're camping out here, they have a pool. You know, they have certain things, you know, you can get in the pool here, because, you know, you're camping, and I'm quite sure they have a shower for people who are camping out here. You know, if you want to take a shower and stuff. There's a lot of RVs out here. And let me look at this campground. This is probably where you check in, and this is the same marquee that we've seen. There's a lot of campground tent area, and there's an area where you can put up your tents. They do have a volleyball court. They have, I'm guessing, they have areas. Not that I see, but they probably have areas where you can charge. You like charging stations, like if you need to charge things. Oh, well, they have them here. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Right now, they have little areas where, you know, you can hook up your RVs where, you know, if you need to charge or anything like that, they have the areas and stuff like that. So they do have this. So well, we don't really have to do a part 3. We're going to finish this off in part 2. So we're going to walk up to this building, and then we're probably going to end it. Yeah, good time. This is a huge part. When I say huge, because, okay. This is a huge park, and so you have a lot of things that covers the ground over here. So this is the huge part, because look at how big the RV area is. It is huge to where you can probably fit 200, 300, 400 RVs in this area at one point, and that is what makes this phenomenal, because you have a lot of the areas. You see there's a little tennis ball court area, not tennis ball, but you know, that little ping pong table. I couldn't get the name out. And you have where you can have at least 200 to 300, maybe 400 cars here. And this is phenomenal how big this park is. And this is just the RV area. We covered the other section of the park, which is about 30 minutes halfway into the park. So if you do decide to come in this park, be prepared to at least be walking for like 45 minutes to an hour in the park, because of the fact that this park here is a huge park. It is very huge, and I'm like going, wow, like I've never seen something like this. Like, I've been in large parks, and you know, there are a lot of parks that's large, and you know, everything, but this is a huge park. I'm not going to go fully back into the area of the RVs, because I know a lot of these areas is just section for RVs to park their cars, and then they probably have restrooms with showers and stuff like that or whatever, but you kind of get the understanding. And this is the pool recreational center, where you can probably get in the looks like the pool is closed because they have a gate behind it, but the gate, they have a lock on the gate. But you know, this is huge, and this is something interesting that, you know, I would recommend that you come out, you know, enjoy yourself. I need to see if they got some water here, or they got something to drink. They don't. Let me see if they got something to drink here, because I do probably need to drink after a while or anything. So yeah, but this is huge. This is interesting. This park is huge. It has restrooms. It had, well, now the restrooms I didn't see upon entering the main part of the park, but I've seen restrooms. Hold on, let me get some water. Now upon entering the park and going to the trail side of the park, I didn't see any restrooms or water fountains in the area. So I'm guessing those are near the beach part. Because a lot of these parks, when they open, they supposed to have a public restroom. So people that comes in the park, like if your kids are in the park, they supposed to have public restroom for their kids to use the bathroom. And some of these parks, the restrooms, some of these parks do have restrooms, some of them don't. Remember, if you remember when we did an episode of Sewell Park, they don't have an actual park office. Their park office was like a storage box that they had out there, and that's not for the park office. That's probably for the maintenance people out there to keep their maintenance tools and supplies. And their restroom was porta potties. And a lot of these parks I've seen that does have restrooms, their restrooms are locked, and they don't open their restrooms unless they have like a event or something out there. And I'm like, if you see Lakeside Pine Preserve, which is one of them, which is basically a nature center, they don't keep their restrooms open. Their restrooms are locked. Even though the park hours is from 8 to 2, their restrooms are locked. And so if you do go out there, you need to use the restroom. You need to go up the street to the shopping center and see if one of the businesses inside the shopping center will let you use their restroom. But yeah. And I just drank some water from the little campground office there. Okay. Campers only beyond this point. Even though I didn't supposed to have access to it, I just walked around to see what it was all about, you know. Because this park is huge. This is the start of the trail. We started here earlier in part 1, and now we're almost halfway through. So I want to say we're probably going to end this here, because I'm going to go back to one of the areas. We're probably going to end this here. So I thank you for watching this. If you've ever been to this park, please comment, you know, at the bottom of this page. You can also email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. If you've ever been to the beach part of this park or rode on the slide, if you have videos and photos and stuff, please share it with me. You know, this is a interesting park. This is Larry and Penny Thompson Memorial Park here in the southwest Miami-Dade area off of Eureka Drive, which is also southwest 184th Street, which is south of Zoo Miami and adjacent to Zoo Miami, because remember we said Zoo Miami is over the gate. So this is part of it. So want to know your comments, your thoughts. Don't forget to check out part 1 of this video and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates on our latest video and everything. And as well, as always, you know, I thank y'all for watching this. It's kind of breezy out here. Oh, and by the way, the rain did not come. Praise the Lord. The sun is out, so it is kind of getting a little bit hot. I am getting a little sweaty because the sun is out. I'm guessing the clouds formation went away, so we are good on this end. But I am starting to sweat, so that means I do need to go sit down somewhere and relax myself for a second, which I'm going to do because I'm doing another episode, not pertaining to this, but we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to sit down. So as always, stay blessed, stay safe, stay hydrated, and enjoy yourself. Live life. You know, I'm not down here as often to these down south areas. It's the south part of Miami, but when I do come and enjoy myself. So come out here and live it. Live your life. You know, you only live once. You know, and from what's going down now, you might want to live it sooner or later, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But okay, I gotta go. This is the Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, C Money, here at Larry and Penny Thompson Memorial Park here in the southern part of Miami. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay hydrated. Email me roundtable00@yahoo.com. Comment at the bottom of the page. See you in the next episode. Take care.